Oh my goodness, do I have a surprise for you. We are at the Michael Trapp garden. It is a small garden, but I promise you, this place has a mysticism about it. It has a romance about it. It has an aura that is just not to be denied. The minute you come through that portal into this world, it's just magnificent, starting with these topiary blue point junipers, the ultimate in elevating the ordinary. I mean, these blue point junipers may look like this because they're growing in Connecticut, but I promise you this is an effect that with time, patience, and a little skill, you could recreate at home. So it's the ultimate take it home. And there's two there, and then there's some here. This is a different type of juniper, but then you're flanked by these massive, massive pots. And this whole place feels as if it has just been steeped in time. It evokes Italy. It evokes just Etruscan ruins. In some spots, it has a very Japanesque quality to it. It is both austere and abundant simultaneously. It's perfectly imperfect. I mean, look at these topiaries, look at these plantings that are on this wall. It's comfortable. This is just kind of like a courtyard in front of the office. Look at the size of the yews. And there's just grace notes everywhere. And again, very reminiscent of things like the Etruscans, the Phoenicians. This is right outside his office. It might be his office or his partner Michael's office. It's Michael and Michael. Look at this climbing hydrangea. Now think what the age of this must be for this to be so thick and mature and just stable. And then this is a, there are just so many wonderful tiny little somethings that you can take home, and we're just going to try to point some of them out to you after we just take kind of a gentle, almost quiet, not quite, stroll through this magnificent garden. Now this is a whole different language of the concept of garden rooms, because these garden rooms are on different levels. They're kind of terraced in with all of this remarkable stonework. Brilliant focal points in so many different places. And I love this right here, this kind of irony of we've got this fountain here in this small reflecting pool that goes back towards the house. And then look at this. We've got the Housatonic River right here. And you almost feel as if you're on the Riviera. So there's water on both ends, but a completely different vibe. And one is so calming and contemplative, and this just has kind of a primal quality to it in terms of the sound it makes. One sound versus the other. Spectacular container gardens almost everywhere. And I encourage you to stop the video and take a screenshot of some of these compositions if you want to deconstruct them and try to replicate them, because they're absolutely fabulous. And these are different kinds of effects that you can get with some of the similar materials that have been used in other gardens that we've seen. And this is absolutely perfect for this spot. Look at this fabulous arbor right here. And I love the fact that even the table is a little bit askew, because that's how it would be in ancient times. This is probably hundreds of years old, but it's not thousands of years old. So that's kind of just a reference to our concept of time. Obviously, any garden for me has to have topiary, and here's some absolutely incredible boxwood topiary. Symmetry, or I guess the rhythm and repetition rather of this same composition across the space at different punctuation points on this guardrail overlooking the river. Climbing hydrangea everywhere that seems to almost grow like a weed. And where I live, we can't even get it started. We can't even get it started. A magnificent old table that has been constructed of slabs of stone, a metal frame, some pedestals at the base, and oh my goodness, look at these lichens. Look at the lichens on these chairs. And then a very interesting use of these colonnade or sky pencil hollies to kind of partition this room, this dining room. And then here is a very transparent wall, because look at this espalier. I mean, it is just absolutely fabulous. And even though this is a relatively small garden compared to some of the other estates that we've seen, nevertheless, so many things are so effectively executed in this small space, like this use of espalier. And this is telling me that, Linda, maybe some of the things you keep telling yourself you don't have room for, maybe I don't, but maybe I do, because a lot of these things are recaptured spaces that weren't weren't always populated with these kinds of plantings. So maybe I have some forgotten spaces that I can use, and I can then adorn them with some of these features that I just obsess over. Instead of going into the dining room, we can kind of just take a U-turn here, and this has been partitioned off. And I mean, just look at the different textures here. There'll be an explosion of color, easy color, Nepeta, Rudbeckia in here. We've got Lamium, all sorts of different things in here. But then look, another cordoned espalier here that has to have been here for a long time, because look at all of the mossy growth on it. Here's our old friend. We recognize this. Ajuga, Russian sage, and then a purple composition that is, of course, near and dear to my heart. So you might want to stop the video and take a screenshot of this. Some salvia, some dichondra, maybe a type of aster or osteospermum. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Something I know that is probably not very tolerant of our heat in Oklahoma, or I'd be more well versed in it. Some petunias, really, really luscious. And then we take another U-turn again. And by the way, there's a wonderful shop here, But we're kind of in this stone-encased labyrinth. And we come down again. And again, look at these mammoth topiaries. that are here in this space and so dramatic. But before we travel down any further, let's take a little moment. Let's stop here, and when we come back, I want to show you some of the different collected features of the garden. Oh my goodness, my friends Roger and John, they would love this. A collection of broken pottery, intact pottery, found objects that are positioned just ever so beautifully up in the cornice, or what the phrase is for that negative space there. And again, it looks like a population of ruins. An urn that's lost its handle, chipped statues, and then all through here, there's foxglove, absolutely exquisite small-leaved boxwood, a variety that I'm not that familiar with, that I think probably would not do very well in our Oklahoma gardens. Large leaved plants, small leaved plants, and then at the end of this vista, look at this mammoth clay olive urn. And then we come down this way, and we can follow the path up again, in, out, all of this in a relatively small space in this one garden room. So you might want to rethink your concept of the garden room. Wow, I feel like I am in Italy for sure. This is so reminiscent of some of the Etruscan ruins and really ancient Roman spaces that we were in when we were in Italy. Rocks that are almost reminiscent of different kinds of skulls and things. Look at the white coral, the pieces of pottery. It just really jettisons you back in time. There is just some kind, a special something, some biblo to see just everywhere. I love, love, love this effect. And this is a take it home idea that you could replicate in some way, whether it was with this particular specimen or something else. This is a piece of sculpture that you could recreate with something that really speaks to you and is special to you. And then we have just a tapestry hanging down of Spanish moss. Ancient looking mirrors. He sources things from all over the world. Definitely a space you could meditate in the morning or evening. And now we're coming down another level. It's just fabulous. All of this stone, no doubt indigenous to this area. And then this is just what is unbelievable to me, the hemlocks, things that in our Oklahoma climate would just be large shrubs. Here, it just looked like they've been shot with steroids. They are just so massive. The fern, the cinnamon fern, the ostrich fern, the yews, oh my goodness, the yews. Beautifully pruned, artfully interpreted, growing on walls, growing everywhere, almost as if this entire garden is a ruin itself. Look at all the cypress, the Italian cypress, or the look of Italian cypress, I should say. The wisteria that absolutely consumes, almost but not quite overtaking that edifice right there. Look at the maturity and the girth of those stems of wisteria. Oh, and the fragrance coming through here. Look at just the size of the scale. There is a magnitude of scale, a grandeur of scale that you can get here that we just can't get in our parts. And then there's that contrast of this fountain and that water against the rigorous, more maybe even slightly violent primal sounds of the river itself. Another level, another place to pause and appreciate the beauty. And look at this towering bamboo. I must ask Michael about that, how he contains it, if it's a specific variety. But what was Italian now almost becomes tropical. And then when you reach the crest of the stairs, it's just almost feels like an audible sigh. After all of that beauty, this is a palate cleanser of nothing but just lawn, cobblestones, boxwood hedge, pachysandra, and beautiful sculpting. Just, you guys know this is one of my favorite things. And I may do it with a viburnum, but this is a yew. And in my neck of the woods, we think of yews as shrubs. Well, this is definitely a tree. And just look at the beautiful way that this has been pruned and cleaned up. And there's a certain kind of just simplistic austerity to the way that it has been maintained. This and this specimen over here, it's hard for me to tell what it is. It could even be something as simple as privet, but that too is romancing the ordinary. And look at the bark, the textures. There is just something to look at absolutely everywhere. Well, at the Michael Trapp Garden, there's a fabulous shop here as well. And we're not going to go in there, partly because the spaces are kind of tight. We don't want to get in anyone's way. And more importantly, I don't want to knock anything over. But it's just filled with wonderful, wonderful oddities, just beautiful things, and kind of just gorgeous compositions of the natural world against the artistic world and man-made things. Just a beautiful, beautiful form of communication amongst objects. So I would encourage you, if you're in this area, to come and check it out. Obviously, anything that is flanked by topiary is a welcoming thing to me.